It is the first day of the Queer Lit Readathon, and I have been so sick. Hi, I'm Alex, this is Books and Paperbacks, and yes, it is the Queer Lit Readathon round 14, and this is my reading vlog. Y'all, I shouldn't start out the video giving you low expectations, but I have been so sick over the last week with a sinus infection, you can hear it in my voice, that I have not picked up a book in days, and I just am not prepared for this readathon. If you haven't heard the Queer Lit Readathon, the links will be down below to the host and the social medias and things for you to know more. But basically, it is a week-long readathon reading Queer Lit, created and hosted by my friends Rogan and Kathy. And it is just about reading Queer Lit. Every round there's a bingo board, and I recently did a video where I recommended a book for every prompt for the readathon. That video will be linked up above. Here are some of my hopefuls. For travel, I would like to read either Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrun, because this whole month I am focusing on reading 2024 releases, or I realized when I was doing some research that a book I was recently sent, Lucy Uncensored, has trans rep, and it is about a road trip. So this could also work for travel, and it's short. I'm gonna try and read some shorter things this week just to ease myself back into reading, and I feel like I'm gonna have such a busy week because I'm getting back to work. For the graphic novel space, I'm trying to finish up Read Queerly, and I need dragons, so I think I'm gonna use the Tea Dragon Society for this. I've already read book 1, but I'll read book 2. For winter holiday, I have a couple options. Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. I have an audio, and I've heard some mixed reviews, so I just want to know what I think of it. And I also think it could work for past, present, future, because it flops from timelines. I think it goes from like past to present. I also have Most Wonderful by Georgia Clark, which was sent to me by the Dial Press. And for nonfiction, and the book I'll be starting with is Pretty by KB Brookins. Hello, it's Monday and I have a reading update and a health update. For reading, I got about 12 pages into Pretty. Isn't this such a pretty cover? Like, the hardcover is so nice. I feel like I don't see this color green a lot, and it's very festive. Basically, this is KB Brookins' memoir about being a queer trans black man who was adopted. And I just always love hearing from trans men about their experiences because they're not all the same. And I like this one because he does talk about being more feminine, and that is something that I am passionate about as a trans man who can be more feminine. I just like hearing that perspective, so I'm enjoying this so far. Oh, I also didn't realize it has deckled edges. Ooh, I did not know this. So this is the only book I've started so far. I am gonna download some graphic novels and things like that. I would like to get another book started, so I think I'm going to start the audiobook of Make This Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake, so I can have that on in the background while I do things. I have some life things to do. This is the first day that I feel a lot better, so I kind of want to tackle some small things that I can do. I cleaned up my room because it was atrocious. I want to write like a list for the week. I do have some Grinch cookies that I want to make throughout the week just to add some festiveness to this vlog, because literally I did no festive things at all and I'm quite frankly upset about it. Maybe I'll watch some Christmas movies, and I want to get a gingerbread house because I'm a part of Kayla Books and Lala's membership, and on Saturday she is doing a gingerbread live show where her and Rob make gingerbread houses, and so I was like, I want to get one so I can do one alongside them. So naturally I'm gonna go to the store and try and find a Peanuts one, because I did find one, and so I have to go to the store and get that. That'll probably be like a tomorrow or Wednesday day, because, you know, I don't know if I feel confident going out to the store after I got sick, but maybe somebody can just bring me one. Besides that, I feel like that's all. I would like to go see some Christmas lights, so maybe I'll do that, but I just kind of want to do some low-key things. But while I'm here, let me unbox something that I got over the weekend. This is my reward for something that I was doing, and I am so happy about it. This! I thought this would be perfect for the week of the Queer Lit Readathon. This is a mug from the Queer Liberation Library. I'll have them linked down below. They are an organization that helps fund queer books. You can sign up on their website and you get their Libby, which houses queer books. It's so great. So I saw that they had this mug and I was like, you know what? This is going to be my reward, one of my big rewards for doing something in my life. So I got it. This is so good and I'm so glad it came this week. I can't wait to use it. Especially because in my previous vlogs, I have advent calendars that are hot chocolate and coffee. And in hindsight now, I'm like, dude, maybe I shouldn't have gotten advent calendars that require some work and are drinks, because I just had coffee today just to like get myself into the swing of things. And actually it helped. It helped a lot. My last time I had updated my advent calendar for a vlog, I was gonna have some cappuccino. So tomorrow I might have cappuccino in this. I'm like, this advent calendar was a horrible idea now that I think about it. At the time it was good because I felt good enough to drink it and it was fun. But now that I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that wasn't the best idea. So I might be doing that advent calendar in 2025. Like, this might be going on for a long time, but it's fine. I'm excited to do it nonetheless, so that'll be another component of this vlog. Just can't wait to not feel nasally anymore and just actually feel 100%, but I at least feel like a human today, and I got some work done, and that makes me happy because I was having a lot of anxiety. But that is it for me right now. I will see you later. It's weird, but this kind of tastes like hot chocolate to me. Even though it's not, it's a cappuccino. But it's light, and I really like it. It's exactly what I've been craving this morning. I just wanted something light. I was a little scared because it smelled really strong, but this is a winner. Hello, it's Tuesday and I do not have a reading update for you. I have not touched anything. Honestly, I'm trying to film another vlog and finish it up today, so that's going to be my priority, and then I'll finally be able to get into my Queer Lit Readathon stuff. I have been doing some content stuff today. Today is my big content day because I have to get that vlog done, but I'm about to go to the store and pick up some things. I don't think I'm getting a gingerbread house because where I'm going is expensive, and I honestly just want to go and come home. And that'll be that. But I wanted to just update because I'm actually going to start Make the Season Bright on audio. I know I said I was going to do it yesterday, but I just did not have the energy, actually. I just didn't have any energy after my first day back at work. But like I said, I'm also trying to finish up that vlog. So that is my main priority today, is finish up that vlog so I can prioritize the Queer Lit Readathon. So I'm going to start that audiobook and I will be back later with a reading update. Good morning! I am so excited for this coffee. I have been wanting the Irish cream one, so I'm interested to see how it tastes. I'll try it without creamer first, and then if I need creamer, I'll put it there. I am so excited for this because I went to bed at like 2:30 a.m. last night because I was getting out a vlog. I edited it all night. Luckily, I was able to watch hockey in tandem. So that worked out for me, but I'm just so glad that this vlog is finally out so you can go and watch it. I had my Spotify Wrap pick my TBR. In terms of reading for the Queer Lit Readathon, I would like to finish Pretty today. I have started the audiobook of Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrun. It's funny because I was going to start Make the Season Bright, but honestly I have not heard great things about it, and I do want to read it to know what I think. I don't know if it's gonna happen this week, so I'm gonna see if I can just read a short thing. I'll be gone for Christmas. It's under 300 pages, so maybe I could read that. But today's Thursday, and I have not finished anything because I've been working on that other vlog, so this is the time for me to give you the content and get some things done. I started Here We Go Again. I believe I'm like, let's say like 16% in. That might be a stretch, but I'm enjoying it. I just love Alison Cochrun. She's literally one of my favorite authors, and I love the way that she is putting these characters in a situation that they don't want to be in. We're following two high school teachers who used to date, but are no more, and they have some like bitterness and underlying issues. They end up going to meet their former English teacher, Joe, who is sick with cancer and dying. So I haven't gotten to the actual big plot point yet, which I believe is in the synopsis, that he is on his last days of life and he wants to explore the world, so I believe the girls are going to take him. This one probably might get me. I think it really will. I just love Alison Cochrun. I think that this is so smart, honestly, because I was really curious of how this was going to go, because there was just a car accident scene. Not very graphic, it was just like a fender bender rear end situation, but I am a sucker for characters that literally hate each other and have to be put in like a forced proximity situation, especially like a car. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. But the coffee is done, so let's give it a try. I don't really know what I think about it. Oh, I'm actually a little disappointed. Like, it's fine, it's light. I honestly might put some creamer in. That might, like, help, but... I'm actually very disappointed. I mean, what did I think it was gonna taste like? I don't know what I really thought it was gonna taste like, but... It is creamy. I can give it that. But... it's fine. Hello, I'm back in the kitchen. I'm making some dinner, some penny alla vodka pasta, and I'm waiting for my water to boil, and I'm just making my sauce. So I figured I would catch you up about my day and my reading. So I think I was telling you that I was trying to get my vlog up, my Spotify Wrapped vlog where I had Spotify Wrapped decide what I was going to read. That was really fun. I went to bed at 2:30 a.m. last night trying to finish it up, and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I was like, sweet, when I wake up in the morning, it's gonna be great because I will be able to just do all my post-production stuff. That didn't happen because when I opened my laptop, it was still processing, and I was so confused. It was 9 a.m. This never happens to me. And then my Wi-Fi went out. So I actually was able to caption my video before the Wi-Fi went out, but I was so confused because I was like, well, if I'm able to caption my video, then what's happening here? Like, usually when it's processing, it's a Wi-Fi issue, but also the video was almost 50 minutes long, so I was like, okay, maybe it's that, or YouTube is My memory card ended up filling up, but what I was saying is I have had a chaotic morning and day from getting my video up and YouTube being weird. Also, my Wi-Fi went out and I work from home, so that just screwed up my whole day. Usually I would go to a coffee shop if something like that happened, but since I'm getting over being sick, I just don't want to risk going out somewhere. So it has just been a day. However, the silver lining is since I had some downtime because I had no Wi-Fi, I was able to read some of Pretty. I really enjoy the prose of this. I actually recently watched a TikTok like a couple days ago from Evelyn Berry, who is a poet that I enjoy, and she was talking about this book. I read her poetry collection this year, and I follow her on TikTok as a poet. I really enjoy her stuff. I was really glad to see her recommending and praising it, and she praised it for the prose. And that is what I really love about this. I think it's a really interesting way to write a memoir with prose and poems. I'm really enjoying it so far. The prose is beautiful. I've taken my tabs out and I've been tabbing a bunch. In the memoir, KB Brookins talks about growing up in Texas as a Christian person and how religion is so toxic, and they talk about their inner thoughts as a child and a lot of bullying that went on and abuse as well as sexual assault. This is a very heavy book, but it really talks about indoctrination and religious fundamentalism and just the toxicity that can come with religious beliefs, specifically the toxicity that comes with some of the Christian faith. He mentions the internalized homophobia he has because of growing up in this religious toxicity. They talk about how religion shaped their sexuality in a bad way. They talk about situations such as having a crush on a girl at church and the girl's mother realizes that they are infatuated with each other and the mother forbids this girl from ever seeing KB Brookins, and it is so heartbreaking, especially because they talk about just the confusion and how they were hearing that being gay is bad and how their first interaction with sexuality or even slurs was being called the D slur. And they talk about how when they were first called that, they had no idea what it meant, but they knew that it was bad. Growing up in Fort Worth, Texas, they talk about being a queer black person and the bullying and racism that they experience, as well as their religious bigotry. There's a lot of talk about that. This is not a light book by any means. It does talk about SA and a lot of heavy topics, but I'm really enjoying the prose. I'm actually sitting here watching hockey, trying to decompress. I just made some dinner, and I just want to relax and turn my brain off. But I think I am going to read while I watch hockey. I just listen to the broadcast, and they can usually keep me updated. This broadcast is ESPN, and it's not very good. So, we'll just see what happens. But I'm enjoying this, and hopefully I will come back to you once I have finished it. Definitely got the caramel. I'm actually going to put some creamer in this and read more of Pretty. I did not get anything read yesterday. Like, after I last saw you, and I was like, I'm going to read. No, my brain was just, I was out of spoons. I could not function. And honestly, the hockey game was so bad that I probably could have just read. Just wanted to try this, and I'll see you later. Hello, it is Friday night, it is 10:30 p.m., and I have not read a thing. So my goal for tonight is to read, because we only have a day left of the readathon. Tomorrow is the end of the readathon. I may extend this vlog probably till Monday, just so I have some reading for you, but the readathon does end tomorrow. However, I have made some progress on the board since I read Your Driver is Waiting by Priya Guns this week for my Spotify Wrapped vlog, and that was able to fulfill disaster queers. But my goal is to finish up Pretty tonight so I can get a move on. I also picked up 2 graphic novels on Libby, which will help me a lot. I don't believe I'll be getting Winter Holiday in this time, but I am still gonna read I'll Be Gone for Christmas, which I will hopefully start tomorrow. depending on what happens, I am gonna go out to get some Christmas shopping done tomorrow. I'm feeling a lot better, and obviously I'll mask because I always mask. Please mask. I am feeling a lot better, which is great, and I just need to get some things. And I also have to go to Michael's and get stuff for future videos. Oh, and I am still reading Here We Go Again on audio, which I don't know if I'll finish that up because it's like a 12-hour audio and I haven't touched it. Yikes. I just have not been reading that much this week, but honestly, this is a very realistic week in my life of a reader who is getting ready for the holidays, but also coming off of a sickness. Pretty will fulfill the nonfiction prompt, choose your own prompt, which is going to be 2024 release, which I could also use Here We Go Again for, but I don't think I'm going to finish that during this week, but hopefully I'll finish it in this vlog, and then I'll see what else. But those are my updates for now, and I will update you probably in the morning, but I am going to spend the night reading and finishing up Pretty. I also had the hot chocolate, and I drank it more, and I realized it is caramely, but I wasn't that big of a fan of it. I really love caramel, though. I used to get caramel macchiatos a lot when I was drinking Starbucks, but I am a union supporter and also pro-Palestine, so fuck you to Starbucks. But my taste has evolved since then. I don't even remember the last time I had a caramel coffee, so it's been a while. And I made some Christmas cookies, just chocolate chip with the Grinch Pillsbury. Very good. If you haven't tried that style before, I highly recommend it. It's a really good taste, and I like the flavors together. And it's very easy. As somebody who does like to bake from scratch, I actually love this method for the days that I just do not have the spoons to make a whole dessert and bake a bunch of stuff and follow directions. Like, this was so easy because I just had to open the package, slice the cookie, and then put the Pillsbury cookie on top. It is so easy. Highly recommend, especially if you're not a big baker. It's very beginner level, and the flavors are good, and I enjoy it. So that is all for me tonight. I will see you in the morning with a reading update. Today is French vanilla latte. Yeah, it tastes like French vanilla. It's fine. Good morning. It is the last day of the readathon, and I have been slacking. I did not read a lot of Pretty last night. I was trying to get to page 100, and I was just tired, and I went to bed around 1 a.m. My focus has just been all over the place, but I am going out Christmas shopping this morning, and then when I come home, I'm dedicating the day to reading. So hopefully I can get more into Here We Go Again, finish these graphic novels, and this morning I'm trying to finish up Pretty. So hopefully I will update you again that I finished it. I will say it is a heavy read, so that's why I'm taking my time with it, and I like to take my time with books like this anyway, but I am still enjoying it. Hi, I just got back from Christmas shopping. I'm spent, I'm exhausted, but I did some things that I needed to get. I'm really happy about that. I got one big gift that I was trying to finish, which was good. I actually got all my Christmas shopping done at the beginning of the month for Black Friday, and I shopped at a bunch of small businesses, which was great. I was so relieved that I had everything finished. I exchange with my aunt every year, so I had to get her something, and it's pretty much finished. I just want to add something to it, but I got the bulk of that done, and I also picked up some things that I need to get for future videos. So for the rest of the night, I'm going to finish up Pretty. I read more of Here We Go Again this morning while I was just getting ready, But besides that, I am going to still continue this vlog till Monday, and hopefully you're seeing this either Monday or Tuesday. That's my plan. But I still want this to be a vlog where I read 2024 releases. So I just wanted to give you a little update. I am going to read Pretty, and then I will be back with a reading update. Hello, it is Sunday. I finished up Pretty last night, but I have a coffee review for you. Today's is spiced latte. I've actually already tried it, but it's good. It's different, but I was like, it was missing something. I need to put something with it. So I actually don't have any just regular creamer right now, but I've been really loving this non-dairy oat milk creamer from Trader Joe's. It's cinnamon bun flavor, and that enhanced this. Because sometimes when I put that creamer in just my regular coffee, which is like breakfast blend, like medium roast, I don't really get that much flavor, but with this, I actually do. So I would say it's a win. That's my coffee review for my advent calendar. I am going to now get dressed, and I will see you later just to update about my day and review Pretty. Hello, it is Monday, and I'm actually going to extend this vlog past Christmas. So my plan is to get it out Friday so that I can read some Christmas things. I started a novella. It's called Sugar, Spice, and Christmas Nice. It's an indie book, and it's actually set in Philadelphia. That's where I'm from. And it's a sapphic romance. It's a second chance romance. There is food. Our main character works at her family's Italian bakery, and I'm enjoying it so far. I also need to start I'll Be Gone for Christmas, so I'm gonna read them in tandem. I've also been listening to Here We Go Again on audio. Both of the protagonists have ADHD, which I didn't know. I just love Alison Cochrun because of the way that she portrays neurodivergence and how she shows that neurodivergent people can find love and deserve romances. It is so good, and I'm really enjoying that both characters, their ADHD is different. There was just a scene where our main character, Logan, is criticizing the other girl, Rosemary. And she's like, well, you're so perfect and you're able to function well. You don't have executive functioning problems. And Rosemary's like, no, I also have ADHD, and I had a diagnosis as an adult. She was just diagnosed, and I really just like to see the contrast of those two characters. And I'm really loving the character development of Logan because this is a childhood friends to rivals to lovers, and basically Logan thinks she knows Rosemary since they had a fling back in high school, but she's realizing she doesn't know anything about this girl. She has just been going off of what her assumptions are based on when they were kids, and so she's finding out a lot of things that are wrong. I'm really enjoying that. It's definitely a hard read though, because they are road tripping to Maine so that Joe can see the last of his life, and he wants to see these specific monuments. They were just at the Grand Canyon. There was some shenanigans that happened there, but honestly it is very sad because it's not just a fun road trip book of going to see the sights. It's the reality of being disabled and traveling, especially somebody with terminal cancer. He has a lot of hardships. He also is a wheelchair user. And so it's really talking about accessibility, and it's just fucking heartbreaking because Joe wants to do all of these things, but there are some obstacles in his way. But also the girls have to see him frail and weak, and it's just fucking sad. It is funny though, because they are English teachers, all three of them, and they were inspired by Joe, who was a gay English teacher who taught them, and they were inspired to become teachers because of him. And so they are reminiscing about old times, but also we're getting to know what they were like in high school. I just love Alison Cochrun. I think she's so great. So I'm excited to finish. I have 5 hours left. I'm not sure when I'll finish, but we'll see what happens. As for today, I did get some content stuff done. I just posted a video where I'm talking more about my Patreon revamp and how you can support me in 2025. There are paid options and free options. So if you enjoy my content and you want to know how to support me, go and watch that video. I'll have it linked up above and in the description. But the time has come to review Pretty. I've put it off for way too long, and it's not a bad thing. I really enjoyed this. It talks about being a Black trans masc person. So much talk about masculinity, which I love. I tabbed it a whole bunch. I really enjoyed this and I recommend it, but it is really heavy. It talks about SA, transphobia. KB is adopted. There's this really great poem. They are writing to their biological dad. They don't know who they are. They took a 23andMe and were trying to figure out who their dad was. And I really enjoyed seeing the way that that was portrayed in a poem. Those poems in particular spoke to me and were also very heartbreaking because they are talking about wanting a masculine person in their life, a father figure, a male figure who can help them on the journey to masculinity. There's so many parts that I did resonate with. This whole book as a whole you can resonate with if you're a trans masc person because it talks about masculinity, but I really enjoyed the conversations about how trans men and trans masc people can be left out of feminism, especially when we're talking about reproductive rights and men and things like that. I really related to that and I was so glad that it was mentioned. Like I said, I love to read books about masculinity from the perspective of trans masc people because being a trans man, masculinity is very different for everybody, and the journey to figuring out what percentage of masculine you are, and just a lot of the identity issues of feeling like you missed out on boyhood, on not having somebody in your life to teach you about the certain masculine things is so relatable. So I highly recommend this to any trans masc person, but please look up the trigger warnings. I try to put them in my review, but I could have missed them. There's a big trigger warning for SA. It's talked about a lot. They also go into detail about how they were not really taught consent. So there are scenes where they are experiencing sexual encounters and they aren't really consenting. Maybe they're just saying yes because that's what they think sex is supposed to be. So big trigger warnings for that. Also just being an adoptee, religious bigotry, homophobia, racism. It's a very heavy read, but the prose and the poems are so beautiful. I loved this for the writing alone, so I do recommend this, and I'm glad that I read it, especially because I bought it this year. So I was able to check off another owned book off my TBR. Since I've been editing all day and listening to an audiobook, I'm gonna give my ears a rest and I'm going to switch over to reading the novella and possibly starting I'll Be Gone for Christmas. This man Joe is really testing me. Alison Cochrun also testing me. Oh boy. I've been very emotional lately, so I know this is going to hit me. This is going to hit me harder than A Man Called Uva did. But honestly, this is so different because it's a road trip and you're really learning about his life. It's talking about the AIDS crisis and his lover, and holy shit, it's sad. Honestly, it's such a different road trip story because most road trips are fun and it's exciting to read and you get to see the characters witnessing landmarks and certain sites for the first time. One of my all-time favorite road trip books is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson, and I want more books like that. But this is so different because you know that Joe is inevitably going to die. The whole point is they are driving him, I believe, from California to Maine, and he wants to hit all the sites. Right now they're in Texas. You're just really learning about his life. And it's really sad because, like I said, it's not the typical road trip story where it's a positive story. I mean, Amy and Rogers is not very positive, but just the concept of a road trip book is fun because they're seeing the sights and things, which they are doing here, but it's that Joe is disabled and it looks different for him because he has a terminal illness and there's just certain things happening where he can't fully experience the sights, and it's fucking heartbreaking. It's just such a heartbreaking read, but I just keep thinking about how genius I think Alison Cochrun is, because she's putting these characters in situations they don't want to be in, and that is my favorite thing about storytelling and writing, is putting characters in a situation that makes them have to express their feelings and talk things out. And in this situation, it is a like childhood friends to enemies to lovers, where these two girls did date in high school and it's been years. They haven't fully gotten over each other. They have a lot of memories together through a lot of hard times they were together. And you know what I've been thinking while I'm reading this? Since it's a second chance romance, I have a series that I started like a couple years ago and I just haven't had the time to finish or just get back to, which I think 2025 will be the year, and I'm gonna do second chance romances. I have a series I started back in 2023 called Trope Taste Test. I only have one episode because I didn't get to fully do the series, so I'm gonna possibly bring it back in 2025, and the whole purpose of this series is for me to decide what tropes I like. I know I like rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers, and fake dating. But I'm like, what else do I like? I haven't read many marriage of convenience. Forced proximity I think I like, but I would like to dive deeper into. The second episode of that series was supposed to be forced proximity, but I think I'm going to pivot and make it second chance romances, because I'll talk to you later about a second chance romance I read this week, and I just wasn't a big fan of it, so I want to dive deeper into second chance romances, so do give me some recommendations for second chance romance that is queer, because I would love to explore them. And if they're maybe your favorite second chance romance, that's even better, because I really want to see if I like this trope, because I'm not really sure if I do. I feel like the trope can be complicated depending on the circumstances. This situation works for me because they literally haven't seen each other in like, what, over 10 years? And things have been different. But I think when a lot of time has passed, and especially being adults, it works because it's more realistic. I know people in my personal life who have rekindled with childhood lovers and got married and had kids. I just think this is the most realistic trope, so I want to dive deeper into it. But so far, I'm really enjoying this. But oh boy, it's a hard one. It's fucking heartbreaking. Because like I said, it's a different road trip story. They're calling it a death trip. The great thing about Alison Cochrun is there's comedy to contrast the darkness. I just love heavy books. I love road trip books. But like I said, this is a very different road trip book, because it's not the sort of thing where they have a plan. They've pivoted a lot, which I do love in road trip books, but it's just a sad one. It's not like, oh, we're moving to the state, so let's do some sightseeing. It's, hey, Joe wants to die in Maine, so we're gonna go literally drive him to his death. Oh my god, it's fucking heartbreaking. and the scene that I'm just at and like the stuff that's happened is so sweet. I'm really enjoying the way that this is done because it could just be a road trip book where these two girls are stuck to talk things out, reminisce, and experience the last few days of this man's life who impacted them a lot. It talks so much about neurodivergence. I meant to mention that it has ADHD and anxiety rep, which I think is so fascinating to me because it's not common. You don't see a lot of people talk about anxiety and ADHD because there can be anxiety within ADHD, but the anxiety is separate. And I'm really enjoying this representation. I really loved Kiss Her Once for Me for the anxiety rep. Literally some of my favorite anxiety rep of all time. And I'm curious to see what reviews are because when Kiss Her Once for Me came out, I was not happy with the reviews. People immediately said the anxious character was annoying. We got to read her inner thoughts, and yeah, anxiety can fucking suck and be annoying, but doesn't make that person annoying. So I'm curious to see what people think about Rosemary because she is very anxious. She needs everything to be planned, which I think is so interesting. It's so important to have this representation because her anxious side wants everything to be planned. She needs to know everything, and she has an attentive ADHD versus Logan, who is more hyperactive and her ADHD presents differently. I just love seeing this representation. It's awesome. I'm stalling. I have 27% left of this book, an hour and 39 minutes left, and I will be back probably when I'm sobbing. I have been junk journaling though, which has been fun because I don't want to just be on my screen while I'm reading. So I decided to do some Christmas pages. Very nice. I got some inspiration on Pinterest. And I know it's a little chaotic, but it's a junk journal and that's the point. Enough stalling. I will see you in an hour. This is so genuinely fucking heartbreaking. Oh my god. Like, dude, Alison Cochrun, she fucking nailed this. I have 18 minutes left. I made myself dinner. It's literally right in front of me. I don't know what I thought. I did not think that this would literally break me. Oh my god. I did not think this would break me this much. I think because A Man Called Uva, I didn't cry at all. I was just sad. I think anybody that has been through grief, and also the fact that this is a beloved English teacher, just pulls it all together. If you've ever had an English teacher that has impacted you, this is going to fucking break you. And honestly, if it can break me, somebody who doesn't cry that often at books, not lately anyway, I don't think I've been as emotional in the terms of like crying, but honestly, sometimes you just need an ugly cry. But holy shit, I don't know how I'm gonna finish this book. I know I have like 18 minutes left. I have 5% left of this book. God, this was fucking brutal. And also, I kind of wish it was my last book of the year because I don't know how I'm gonna read a book again after this. My next book for my next vlog is going to be a middle grade. I'm just gonna be catching up on my reading goals for for the end of the year. And thank God my next book is a cute middle grade because I need all of the happy books after this absolute heartbreaking monster of a book. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna finish the book, eat something, and sit with my thoughts. And I will see you after. I've got a cat and I'm ready to wrap up this video and tell you the last 2 books I've read. I didn't get around to I'll Be Gone for Christmas. I really wanted to, but I didn't realize how busy it was going to be for Christmas Eve and Christmas. I just did not even get time to sit down and read. However, I did read a novella. I finished it up late last night. Sugar, Spice, and Christmas Nice by Anne Hagen. This is set in Philadelphia, following Layla and Paige. Layla and Paige were in a relationship, but once college hit, they became long distance, and specifically the book says trust was broken and things just did not change. So it's Christmas. Layla is working behind the counter at her family's bakery. It's an Italian bakery, and she is mentoring this girl, Destiny, who's an intern and she loves baking. Personally, I loved her as a character. It was so fun to see her just excited about baking, and her goal was to go to culinary school. So Layla is really hurt and upset. She is so heartbroken that her and Paige ended things. While Layla's working one day, she gets a package. It's a box of letters from Paige when they were dating, and it makes her really emotional. Paige ends up coming to the bakery, and Layla thinks it's fate. Paige wants to talk to her, and it's a little messy. So they end up being able to go to coffee and talk, and basically Paige says her mom must have sent the letters, and she has nothing to do with it. And then that was it. And I was just like, what's the point? Like, what is the point of adding that if it doesn't add to the plot? I would have liked to see something happen there. So they talk, they construct things, they make up, and then inevitably they end up getting together. And I don't get it. I'm so confused how they got back together so quickly. I'm like, first of all, how did they break up? That's what I'm still confused about. Because the only mention of the heartbreak is that line that says her trust was broken. So you got back together with her. Now I understand adding that if the character learns from it. Maybe Layla could learn that she rushed into things and she doesn't need to be with Paige. However, that's not what happens. I am going to spoil the book. So if you were looking to read this novella, honestly, I just randomly found it somewhere, but I need to talk about this and rant because it just wasn't my favorite thing. I also don't want to critique it too much because it is a self-published author and I know how hard that can be. I just think it wasn't for me. If you want a short and sweet familial bakery Christmas story, then this is for you. It's sapphic, there's a trope where they save the bakery, but it was really rushed for me. I definitely would have read this as a full novel because I think we could have fleshed out more. There's a lot going on. Layla's brother Brandon, he wants to come in for the holidays, but he was going to propose to his girlfriend and stay in Chicago, so they decided to do that, and then something happens and he ends up coming home. And that was a nice element. I would have liked to see that conflict build a little bit. The romance between Layla and Paige just bothered me to no end, and then the ending made me more mad because it was just so rushed. I said I would have appreciated the ending if it had been flashbacks. I just think this needed to be fleshed out more, but also having more time. The ending would have worked if we could have had like a 10 years later or 5 years later scenario because of what happens. There's just so many decisions that happen so quickly and you're like, she didn't even think about it. I'm confused. What is happening? Layla's whole storyline is she's back at her parents' bakery because she tried to pursue being a writer and she got her creative writing degree, but she got writer's block and her writing degree just didn't work out. So now she's working at the bakery again. And since her and Paige broke up, she doesn't have the writing spark anymore. I'm fine with that. I love characters who are writers. But again, the decisions were too quick and unrealistic for me. I just needed more detail and the story to be fleshed out more. That's all I can say. It was just a lot. I think we could have stuck to a couple storylines instead of having a bunch thrown at you. So this is why I'm questioning, do I like second chance romances? And I'm definitely going to be exploring that next year. But let's talk about a book I did like. Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrun. Holy shit! I'm so glad I waited to the end of the year to read this. And this is also why I am not the booktuber who posts best of books before the end of the year. I'm seeing all of the best and worst books of the year videos drop this week, and I don't know how you do that. I know some people stop reading at a certain day, but I can't. I have to read until the very last second, and this is why, because now I found another favorite of the year. This was perfect in my opinion. I loved how long it was, which is very rare for me to say, but I think this worked so well as a second chance romance because the characters don't immediately forgive each other. And there's the forced proximity that they're so mad at each other and they're forced in this car and they have their own grief they're grappling with, as well as personal life things that are going on. I loved Logan as a character and her character development was great. I liked that it was more interpersonal and she had to figure out things that were affecting her relationships. I saw myself a lot in Rosemary. Again, I really love the representation of neurodiversity and anxiety because that is very rare to see or even be discussed. So thank you for putting that in the book, Alison. I really appreciate it. But I just thought it was so well done. There's so many twists and turns that you don't think are going to happen, or I was just naive to them. I really enjoyed getting to know Joe, and I think because this book was so long and intimate, because we're learning about the detours they're taking are really personal to Joe. And you're learning about him as a person and how these girls were so impacted by him because he was a gay English teacher and they ended up becoming English teachers inspired by him. And I just think it's really personal. If you've ever had an English teacher that has touched your heart, Joe is going to be really relatable. It talks about the AIDS crisis. There's a scene where they do drag. That was really fun. And I really loved Rosemary getting out of her element. One part of her character development that I liked was her kind of getting out of her bubble, but it wasn't fixing her mental health or her neurodiversity. It was her just learning that she doesn't have to have a plan for everything, but it's okay to be the planner. Her being a planner really helps in her relationship with Logan because Logan is chaotic and unorganized versus Rosemary needs a plan for everything and she doesn't like when things are changed. And I just enjoyed her character development was just getting out of her shell and it wasn't her stopping everything that she does. I just think Alison Cochrun does such a great job writing romances with neurodiversity. I can't thank her enough for what she does because it is so rare to be able to see yourself in a book, especially a queer book. I will say there is demisexual rep. Rosemary's learning that she is demisexual, and I think, I can't remember off the top of my head what Logan identifies as. I believe it might be bi, but I'll just say queer for the time being. But yeah, this was so good. Please have tissues because as you saw, this literally wrecked me. And I believe that this is the first book of the year that has done that to me. There's been a couple books that have done that to me. Too Bright to See is one of those. But damn, what a fucking good book. Audiobook as well, phenomenal. I'm so glad I read this and I'm glad that you got to witness this. I'm glad we got to be along for the ride. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I know it was a long one. Check out the Queer Lit Readathon. It'll be linked down below. They just posted the 2025 dates, so go and check that out and give Kathy some love, as well as Rogan. Thank you to Kathy and Rogan and all of the hosts for a wonderful week for the Queer Lit Readathon. I know that I extended mine a little bit, but I'm excited for 2025 to read more queer books. And if you want to read more queer books, hi, I'm Alex. This is Books and Paperbacks, where I love to shout about queer and trans books. So if you're new here, feel free to hit subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, giving it a like and a comment really helps me out. I recently made a video talking about my changes for Patreon. So if you would like to support my channel in 2025 and you have the means, I have talked about my paid and free options over on Patreon to help support me in the new year. That video will be here and you can hit subscribe there. Thanks for watching, happy holidays, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.